I would like for you to talk about your current ban.
Yes.
You've been banned,
Yeah.
and what led to your ban. And let's simplify it in layman's terms. So us batho ba ordinary ba go ditrateng sizokhona understand ukuthi kahle kwenzakalani.
Now I woke up on the 6th, I received an email. Boom. Declaration persona non grata.
What does that mean?
I'm not welcome in football. If I have to be declared a persona non grata, what about the president who was alleged rape?
Do you think Mr. Jordaan has got a hand in you being banned?
No. It doesn't have a hand. It's his decision. So, Danny Jordaan has had so many people out.
I am in the presence of greatness. You guys, some of you say I'm your role model and I appreciate it. You say I inspire you. But I've got people who inspire me as well. People that I grew up watching and people that I've always modeled myself, my career around. The person I'm sitting with today is an iconic person. It's some of those people that we don't give their flowers enough in this country. So I kind of felt I'll do a long intro to also introduce the new generation to this giant that I'm sitting next to. I won't read it too long because the resume is too long. But she's a mother. She's a grandmother of 10. Her drive to break barriers has led her to be a CEO of multiple businesses. She's a multiple sports award winner, born in the village of Mopani district in Limpopo, and the only daughter of 4 older brothers. I actually don't want to read the story here because I would like for her to tell us her story, how she came up, because, you know, a lot of them came up during the apartheid era. You can only imagine how difficult it was for them. But, you know, I know her also as a football mogul. She's been in the PSL for many decades, and she's the founder of REA Stars Football Club that we all know of, we all pride ourselves with. She was the first female to be head of the delegation in the AFCON men football qualifier match with South Africa won against Nigeria in 2019. She was responsible for the establishment of the Under-19 Football Academy for Girls at the High Performance Center at the University of Pretoria. She made a research in all 9 provinces before facilitating the establishment of the first National Women Football League in South Africa. She serves on numerous committees. She serves on numerous boards, including Deputy Chairperson and later Chairperson of the Sports Transformation Committee. She is very, very well loved by millions of South Africans. And as I've already said, this resume is quite very, very long. But I'd like for us to hear the story from the horse's mouth. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sitting with the iconic Mama REA LEDWABA. Welcome to the Hustlers Corner.
Oh, thank you. I've been your follower too. I always followed where what you are doing, especially the giving back. You know, I've seen you giving back so many things, and you inspired me too. You know, and today sitting with you here, it's an honor.
Thank you so much, Mama Kyaleboha. I'm getting goosebumps. You want Mama to get closer to the mic? No problem.
Okay.
Yeah, Mama will get close. She's a pro.
Okay.
I mean, she does these things all the time. Okay. Just now she's got her own press conference. I just want to firstly start by thanking you for giving us not an exclusive, but giving us your time to sit with us privately and quietly, intimately, and share your story with our young generation of hustlers. Mama. Maybe the first thing that I'll start with is just a summary as to Mama REA LEDWABA Kemang before we get into the elephant in the room.
The REA LEDWABA is a servant of God. I've been a servant of this country for decades. That's what I do. I think I started with a football team of young boys, under 10 and 12. That's where it started, my football. Although I come from a family of boys that played soccer, all of them, and you can imagine a young girl last born following your brothers all over the show playing football. I never played football myself, but I've been following them, and the love of and the passion of football comes from there. So that's who I am. Bashimane fela bayi-4.
Oh, that's how the love of football started.
Yes.
Okay.
And maybe to be able to stand up.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, maybe it's from that background that I can stand up. I can be in a environment where there's men, and I'm sure. I don't know whether it's God who created me to always be in the industry of men, where there's only men. Football is when I came into football, there were very few women out there, and you have to stand up in a congress where there are 1,000 men there, and probably you are the only woman there, or there are 2 or 3 women there, and you have to stand up and state your case. So I find myself in there. Now I found myself in the air conditioning business, and it's a man industry once again. So I always find myself in that situation, and I ask myself, is it because I was born in a family of boys? That's why I'm always finding myself in that space of men. But here I am. I'm sitting here with you, and let's talk.
And we know you as a giant. You're such a giant in this country, and you've been a giant for many decades. One can only imagine the battles that you've had to fight over the many years that you've been in football.
You don't want to. Women saying, what is she doing in a man's world? Men saying, this woman, what is she trying to do? In football, no, she will never survive. And I survived those battles. I was nearly killed in Thohoyandou watching a soccer team. I nearly lost my life, there. So the journey, it's not an easy one. It's you spend your money, you don't get any money. You pay for your players' food, you pay for their traveling, you pay for their accommodation, you pay their salary too. So it's a very difficult industry. It's lucrative when you look at it from outside, but when you are there, it's very tough. You every time you want to win. If you lose, you don't sleep for that week. You want to win again and you lose again. So you can imagine, even the sicknesses and all that, you are subjected to that kind of environment where it's not easy. You spend your family money. I was working for government. I was a teacher before. I work for Standard Bank. I work as a public relation officer in the office of the former Chief Minister of LEDWABA. And then I went to the new government, 1994, Ramatlodi. I was in the communication department there. But you work there, but then you have a team that you have to support on a daily basis. It's not easy to get sponsors, although I have been fortunate because I never went to a sponsor and asked for money. I always went to a sponsor and said, I need soccer boots, I need bags, I need transport for my boys, I need incentive for my boys. That's what I did, and I almost had everything. When clubs in the lower division were running teams from the boot of their cars, I had an office in town because I went to a law firm and said, can't you offer me an office? And they said, oh, with pleasure. Then I had an office. I had a board, So that's how the team was run. That's how the team survived from that grassroots level until we got into the Premier League.
Before we continue with the story, you touched on an interesting story, Mara Wafeta Hanyane. Mara, I would like to take you back there, and I'd like for you to share with us the experience, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Because I like it sometimes, elderly people, when they share memories of some of the things that have happened in their lives. You're saying there was a time where you almost lost your life. What had happened? Take us through that story.
Yeah, the team REA Stars was position 3, and position 1 and 2 were playing. And I went to watch that game. I went with my late husband, with the coach, may his soul rest in peace, Basil Gwangwa. He just passed. We buried him just a few months ago. And
May their soul rest in peace,
another boy who was playing for the team. We went to watch the game. And when we were there, this is the reverse issues, and the game went on, and 10 minutes after 90 minutes, the game still carried on, and that team, the home team, was actually winning. And the visiting team scored after that extra time that and we all looking at the watch and say, but why is this game not ending? And the other team scored, and after that the game ended. And the supporters just felt, or I came there to influence the game because I'm position 3 and all that. It was like something that you see in the movie. When we're sitting in the car, my husband was outside. I was sitting with Basil Gwangwa and Chipa in the car, and that car was ransacked, and I had to call. Fortunate enough, I had my bag and my phone. I called Junior Ramuse. I'm sure you know him. He also passed on. He was the public relation officer of REA Stars, but he was also working for government. And I asked him, can you just call the commissioner of police and ask them to send the police to the station, to the stadium? And that's how we were saved. We're trapped in the car. And the police came. I had to leave everything. Even my bag was left in that car. And the car was damaged, and we were taken home by the police. But just the fact that I was at the stadium, and this thing of saying, the people assuming that when you are at a football game, you can influence the referee. And as I say, I was looking at the watch and say, what's going on? Why, you'll have 5 minutes, 10, but more than 10 minutes, it's not something that you expect in a football game, So those are the things. I mean, you travel, you leave your children. I mean, I've got a boy and 2 girls. Those girls grew up without seeing, because every game that played of REA Stars, I was with the team, So every time you have to have something to be able to, you have to take money from your pocket and be able to feed the players, make sure that they sleep well, accommodated well, the transport, it's a transport that they will feel comfortable so that they can go and play when they get there. So the challenges of funding, it's critical in football.
And how did you start REA Stars?
5 boys came to my home. I was staying then in LEDWABA home. These boys were playing for Naughty Boys. In Joburg, the biggest team, it's Chiefs and Pirates then.
And what year is this?
1989.
89, okay.
Yes. In Polokwane, the biggest team was Stonebreakers and Naughty Boys. So the boys that were playing in Naughty Boys, there were many and talented players, most of them. So 5 of them came to my house and said, Mama, we are too many Naughty Boys. There was a competition called Toyota Under 21. And they said, can you register us in that competition? I said, but it's a competition. If you are knocked out in the first game, what happens? Then I decided, I said, no, let me speak to the president of Limpopo, passed on to Ruben Mukhasha. Let me talk to him. And what do we call this team, by the way? Then there were names, REA United, REA LEDWABA, REA Stars, REA that. And finally they said, Mama Rena the Stars Naughty Boys. So let's call it REA Stars. And I'm telling you, Sbu, first year, registered them, I paid 450 to register them. There were 2 leagues in the South African Football Association. The one was the Smirnoff League, the first one. Second was Impala. But when I gave the president the names of the players that I'm bringing into the team, he simply said, no, let's register them in the Impala League. We didn't start at the bottom. We started with Impala League, which was the biggest league here, South African Football Association. So that year, they won all the games and they got promoted to the Premier League, 3rd division. That's how it started.
And this is national?
Yes, I'm talking national. I played in the under-19 Caltex competition and went to the final with Hellenic. I played 3 years in succession, Toyota under-21. The 3rd year, I went to the final with 2 for Joy, where Steve Lekoelea was playing. Champions League, Little League, I went to the semi-final, representing Limpopo all the time. So
Sure.
that's where my football. And I think then the how REA Stars was known was through those competitions, to be honest. Yeah. Because
I remember
they were
2 for
national.
Joy. I remember the Champions Little League.
2 for Joy. I even had a struggle, with Steve, because Steve became under 10 for many years. And he remained 10 years, he remained 10 years.
At that soccer age.
Yes, and I protested. I said no, and I lost, because when I get to the DC, they say, give us the proof that Steve is not under 12. And I said no, but he can't be playing 3 years earlier and he was under 12 and he's still under 12 today. It doesn't make sense. No, I remember the chairperson was even Tate Oliphant then, before he became the president. So those are the challenges that you come through. Remember I had a case with Classic, Tembisa Classic, when I was playing in the Premier League and they played a defaulter, a player who's not properly registered. I won the case, but the DC said, no, we'll take the points next year. What's the point? I've won. Why would they take the points from the team in the following year? So those are the things. I've been there. I've seen it. I've learned. I have fallen. I have many things that I've done in football that really and even when there was a game where I played Kolobwa. I played a team in from Mokopane and I won 3-0. The referee wrote that I lost.
How?
And there was a representative of the league. I was in the 3rd division then. I went to the team that I played with. They wrote an affidavit that they didn't win that game. And the PSL said the referee's decision is final. It pains, you feel that pain, you feel like you want to do something like that. Either you're going to buy a referee next time and do that. So that's the journey that you travel in this industry of football. Many things. Sometimes the game, your boys are prepared, they're ready to play, they've trained, and then the referee decides who's going to win. And you lose.
So that happens?
A lot.
So match fixing is also big in South Africa?
No, it is, definitely. It is.
So just like in politics, there's corruption in football also?
No, there is.
Sure.
It's just a pity that you don't follow football. The referees have been
I do, but not that much as much as I used to. Yes, ma'am, yeah.
Especially at the lower ground. Maybe at PSL you can watch that, because PSL, remember, everybody's watching.
Yes.
So, but those other games, no one is watching.
So tjhelete na lo tsamaya fatshe.
Yeah, I'm sure you all give the referee, you give, and then the referee decide who wins that day.
Sure.
Yeah.
But how do you deal with that type of corruption then?
We create it. we created as I'm saying we created because it has been my outcry all my life in football when I was now in the executive, where I say, how is it possible that a team must pay the referee? Why should the team pay referees? Why shouldn't the association pay the referees? You cannot, because then you allow the owners of the team to have a conversation with the referee. Because if I have to give a referee 300 rand and I give the referee 1,000 rand, and I don't mean bribing, but I'm saying I just feel this referee, they travel from one place to another, they don't have a car, they're going to hike. I'm giving him 1,000 rand. What happens in the game? It's not gonna be easy, but it's at that lower level where you are paid by the referee. But at the PSL, the referees are not paid by the team, but at the lower level, and that's where there's crisis there.
How much was it to run REA Stars in the first few years?
My overheads were 400 and something thousand rand. And the league, the grant from the league was 200. So I had to have a gap of 200 and something thousand rand, either through regalia, the supporters clothing, either through the membership card, either through the gate taking. So you have to cover up there. If you don't have a sponsor, yes, it's a problem. Yeah, but we had a sponsor, Lenko. We got a sponsor from Lenko, so we were able to cover up. But there were months where PSL also would say your grant will come late, because
so PSL also gives the teams that are in the in the league grants.
Oh yes, of course. We were receiving at that time. I think 1992, we were receiving 200,000 rand.
Okay.
For playing in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the first division and all that. The first division received their first grant was when we fought, when I was a board member representing the first division. It was me and Joe from KZN was representing the coastal. I was representing the inland. And we fought because we were getting nothing when they were getting 200. So I said, we fought and said, no, we need a grant. And guess how much grant we got?
200,000.
5,000.
5,000 rand?
Yeah. Five.
Not 500,000.
No, five. I guess the PSL was getting 200,000.
Oh, the PSL was getting 200,000.
Yes. Now, first division, we're getting 5,000.
Oh, I thought you were saying the teams were getting 200,000 each.
No, the teams were getting a team grant was 5,000.
Go PSL.
Go PSL was 200.
Okay,
yes. REA Stars will get 200, Chiefs 200, Pirates 200. Sundowns 200. That's what we got.
In those days, the highest paid players were getting how much in football? Those days, because this is the early 90s, no?
Yeah, I'm sure my 8,000 or my 5,000 there. Well, it was very little indeed. But it went up. Currently, I'm sure they're receiving 2 million.
Yeah, times change. Times evolve.
After the World Cup and all that, so it changed. So it's much better, but it's still not enough because you need about 5 million rand to run a team.
And that's what I wanted to ask. On a monthly basis. Yeah. So what do the most expenses go to in running a team?
Traveling. Meals and traveling. And accommodation. That 200,000 rand, if you have to go to Cape Town twice, it's done. Don't have any other money.
Because you're traveling with 15 boys.
18.
18 boys, yeah.
In fact, 18 is the team that will play. You normally travel with 23 because just for in case, So you cater for 23 players.
23 is gone in one trip, man.
Yes.
The hotels and the flights.
Yes, and the flights and
That's
the
why
meals.
The sponsors are important, no?
Yeah, they're very, very important. But the sponsors want an image. They don't just want to give. People don't understand. I've got a Premier League team, I'll get it. So it's not as easy as that. MTN, Vodacom, they want something back. They don't just want to give money, they want something back. They want to see the players behaving. Those players that are in the papers every day, they don't understand the damage they are doing to their own teams, to their own selves, because you can't. The sponsors would want to see a team that have role models for young people out there. So it's a and we have seen a lot of players obviously ending up nowhere because of the lifestyle. We have a number of players now that when you look back where they come from and we look at them now, you will cry and say, what happened to this individual? Is it lack of given some motivation, some training when they earn what they never expected they will earn. They drive those cars. A person buys 3 cars and he doesn't even have a place to stay. He doesn't even, at least you have got your home, which is your parents' home. Why don't you put something there so that on rainy days we are able to go back there? So that's the story of our football players. But we hope that they will learn. You learn from others, and you are able to do something better for yourself. Now I'm very proud as Boo, because I can look back with pride the boys that came from these hands.
What are some of those names that you are proud of?
Well,
You've just mentioned Steve Lekoelea. Shout out to Steve Grootman.
Mlagzi,
Mr.
yes,
Mlagzi, sure.
Lokwati, I took him when he was injured, when I got him from Real Rovers. He was not even playing there. I took him to a family that deals with the bones and what have you. And look, he played up to 30-something years. May his soul rest in peace and pure. We just buried him the other day. Mkonza. Teko Modise, I took him when he was 14 years old. Yeah, when he came
wow.
to... Yes.
Teko
of course. Teko comes from this hands. When he was there, he was 14 years old when he came to play for REA Stars.
What are some of the stories that you remember about Teko as a 14, 15, 16-year-old?
He came to my office one day and said, no, Mara, this 2,000, 5,000... mama, ke kopa increase.
At 14?
You know what? And at that time, he was not playing, but the coach was very confident that he's going to be a very good player, great player. In fact, he said, this boy is going to end playing for some countries.
Wow, and who's that coach? Let's give them their flowers.
Yeah, no, but unfortunately, as I say, people come and go. Brastiles, Pumo,
Brastiles,
yeah, he was one of the best coaches this country ever had.
So he could see that Teko was going to be a star.
At 14, said this boy is going. He was very disappointed when we sold REA Stars because he already had plans, and he didn't play with names. Said, I don't care a name. I want a talented player. I want a player disciplined out and inside the field of play. And this player must be able to play football. That's what I want. Nothing else. Tapelo Diao could do anything with football. Tapelo, you look for, you won't find it. That's how talented Tapelo was. So there are many players that I still hook up with. They still ask me for advice, Mama. This is what I want to do. What do you think? And all that. But with pride, when I look back, and I always say to people, if you say you are successful, show us one person, just one, that you have lifted up. Just one person. But you can't tell us you are this successful, and when you look behind you, there's nobody. It's only yourself.
Coming back to the business of the team, if it would take that amount of money, say 5 million, to run a soccer team,
yes,
where does the revenue come back from? So you spoke about merchandise earlier.
Yes.
You spoke about ticket sales.
Yes.
You spoke about sponsorships.
Yes.
And I can imagine that's not a lot of money
Yes.
unless you're like one of those big teams. And where else?
There's no, it's not. It's only your merchandise. It's your membership cards.
Oh, membership cards.
Yes,
Okay.
membership cards. You have to be very strategic with that also, because people don't just buy membership card. It has to have value in it. Like you have a membership card. It's with Spa or Checkers or what, then I'm a member, but I can go to Checkers and get R1 when I buy
like loyalty
something.
points.
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
loyalty points. So those are the things that you do, and also create events. You are even it's your career. The events, do events. Do gatherings where you invite business people, to come and motivate your players, but they pledge. Then you have some funding with your team.
I understand.
Yeah.
Geez, man, it's not a cheap thing, man.
No, it's
not anybody that can run a soccer team.
No, it's not. You must be prepared to lose money.
Yeah, because if you're running at that amount of money, definitely it's not going to come back every month.
No. Especially when you don't lose, when you don't win. You must win. If you want supporters to be happy, you must win. Supporters don't want a losing team. They always want you to win.
Yes.
You see what you saw Chiefs and Pirates the other day.
Yes.
5 goals.
Yes.
That's what the
that's
supporter
that's what we'd
wants
like
to
to see.
Yeah, you don't want to
see
game
goals,
0-0, 1-1.
Yeah.
We want to see.
Stadium.
Yes. And you see those beautiful goals. What beautiful goals. So that's what you want to see. So this is football. You have to be passionate. You have to be prepared to lose your money. I'm as poor as I am today because all my money.
No, you're so wealthy for us, Mama. Thank you for the wealth of experience.
But in that manner, yes, I know inside my spirit, I've got this wealth because I've been a giver. I've given myself. I've given everything that I have without expecting anything back.
But when you're like that, a lot of people, when they look at you, they think you've got a lot of money.
Oh.
Because they see other people who've got money, who are wealthy, get into supporting or owning soccer teams. So I can just only imagine that when people see you as a businesswoman, REA Stars, it's your team.
Yeah.
It's like Unalechelet. And I can imagine the pressure that you've had to live under.
Yeah, when I gave the team, remember there was a time where the Premier League team had 18 teams.
Yes, ma'am.
And then there was a decision by the board to reduce the team to 16, and they requested 2 teams to give away their status. And you don't give your status because you want to give your status. You give a status because you see the struggle. You don't want to be relegated because you didn't pay your players and they went to lose the game, So we decided, and remember I was with Chico then, we decided to give away the status, our status. And it was basically because there was a struggle. Every month you have to struggle to get that other 200,000 rand, to cover the cost, the overheads of the team. And we gave away that team. And when I gave away that, when we gave away the team, it was very difficult.
You gave away the team. I thought you sold it.
No, I didn't. I gave away. Of course, I was reimbursed for my status, but it was not selling the team. It was giving the status back to the league so that the league must be reduced to 18. That was a huge compromise, a huge compromise that Free State Stars, Ndate Mokoena May is also his soul, rest in peace. He gave his status, I gave my status. But afterwards, it was, it's like giving your own child, giving your own child away, It wasn't an easy one. I cried every night because what did I do, But the supporters the supporters, because they lost so much. They loved the team. They enjoyed coming to the game. The people who were selling at the stadium, they lost income, because now the team is no more in existence. So business in Polokwane, when the teams, Kaizer Chiefs, come to play there, the hotels are full, people are booking, so the economy is going up a little bit in the township, in the town where you are playing. So up to today's view, I still get people who ask me, Mamre, mara ela yona o e dirileng ae. No.
Do you regret it?
Yeah, I do. A lot. I do regret. Sometimes we do certain things in our life because of the circumstances that you find yourself. And I've learned in my spiritual life that, sometimes God wants you to go through these difficult times. That's why Joseph was in the pit, was in jail, was accused of rape, was all this sort of things. God was building him to be the next in charge, to the king. That's how it works in the spiritual world. God doesn't just put you there. He built your character on the road. You fall, you get into difficult situation, but he always say, I will not give you. When you go through these challenges, they will never overcome you, because we have got the capacity to overcome. I give you he will never give you something that is too difficult for you to overcome. It's just that people, we give up. And when you give up, well, God, I've tried. I'm giving this woman an opportunity to do something. Then you give up. And probably that's what I did. My journey was to take that team, to still build that team, because you are building players, you are building a community in your own community. But maybe because of those challenges, I gave up. But I've learned from that. Or, sometimes when you go through difficult challenges in life, have faith, man. Just keep your faith, keep believing, keep trusting. And I will reach my destiny, because God created a destiny for each and every one of us. We all have different destinies, and you will get there. You will fall, wake up, but you will get there. He will never give you something that you will never achieve. So those are the things that you learn when you say, was it a good idea to give back my status? If somebody asked me, I said, no, it wasn't. But it was that moment when you struggle. You say, I don't want to be in the history book of football as a team that was ever relegated. I played good football. I had good players, Tabang Levese, Frank Makua, Sempem, which Abel Chong, Chaklas. So I had good players that I could be proud of, But at that moment when you really believe, I think it has been too hectic. I can't do it any longer. But you learn and say, oh, that's what life is all about. You have to go through the struggles for you to get strong and be able to do things even much better than you did them before.
Were you remunerated fairly at least?
Yes, I was. I think I was. I was remunerated, and it was not a remuneration to enrich me. Let me say so, because there were a lot of debts. Yes, there were a lot of debts. We have to pay this, we have to pay that, we have to pay that, we have to pay that. And look, if you ask me, what did you do with that money? I don't know. I don't know what I did with it, because it has never been in my account. It has always cleared our name so that we can carry on with our lives.
Business, nah?
Yeah, that's what business is all about. It's you go through those challenges. If you pass them, then you are a testimony. You can be able to tell people this is how you do it. That's why I can be able to motivate young people, because I understand the journey that I've traveled myself.
Your other businesses, I know you're in the air conditioning business. Maybe
Yeah.
before the air conditioning business, are there any other businesses that you've had to venture into before?
Yeah, yes, I did.
Because when I can tell you I hustle, I'm sure you've started a lot of other businesses before.
I even remember one American guy. I went to a church and he called me up there and he said, I see there's a lot of businesses. What's going on? And I said, well, in life, you have to try where you try. And yes, I've been in the school furniture business, manufacturing of school furniture.
Nice.
Yes, I've been in the fuel industry.
Okay.
Is where I
Nice.
deliver to garages and what have you. Is a lot of other businesses.
And it's a good thing, because I say to people are different.
Yeah.
Other people will follow one thing and they'll do one thing for the rest of their
Yes.
lives. Now a lot of people they're always on my case. Like, so I'm like, but now I grew up under a mother like that.
Yeah.
Ning ning o rekisa diaparo, ning ning o na le hair salon, ning ning o na le van, o recruita di-chom tsa etsa mo locationeng, ba na le cleaning tender ko kae kae. Like, I grew up under a person or pandang, a businesswoman, right?
Yeah.
And I love now that role modeling.
Yes.
Because now I saw it and it taught me to be independent.
Yes.
Without even her having to do much, just me being around her,
Yes.
I became that. I became Motopandang.
And sometimes you don't have to be there, like you don't have to be doing those businesses yourself, because you can empower other people, and you stay at the back and people don't see you in the front, but then you are at the back, you are creating these policies, you are busy being creative at the back to make sure that these businesses are doing well. So that's who I am. That's the journey that I've traveled.
And let's talk about the air conditioning business.
Well, it's a very funny story. I was in a hotel sitting with some friends, having a drink, and were ladies sitting one place, and at that corner there were men sitting at that corner and they were drinking. But this young man is looking at me all the time, and I try to ignore, and I say, I don't know what this young man is. Was just looking at me, and at around 12 o'clock we left, and everyone, I invited them because I was sleeping at that hotel, so they left. Then I went to sleep. Just when I went to bed, a phone rings, and not my cell phone, the phone in the room. This is so and so. Oh, okay, yeah. And the next question was, and how did you get my number, my room number? And then he said, please don't make a drama. I cheated on the reception. I went there and I didn't ask them for your room, but I found a way of getting to your room. Please don't cause havoc. I'm not going to do any harm. Can I come and talk to you? And I said, at 12 o'clock, midnight. I don't know who you are. I don't do things like that. Then he said, okay, I'm going to leave my number at the reception because I'm leaving first thing in the morning. I want to talk to you about business of air conditioning. REA, air conditioning. Oh, so indeed, when I get to the reception, they gave me his number. This is the number. I said, a week passed. I didn't call. After 2 weeks, he called. Got my number. I don't know where he got my number. And he called and he said, look, I'm in the air conditioning business. And I think I've been watching you. I see what you have done and all that. I think you can add value into our company. Can I invite you with my partners? And they were Jewish. Can we have lunch with you? And that's where it started.
Wow, and how many years ago was that?
2004. Yeah.
So you've been doing this all along?
Yeah, all along, yes. Then we created the training academy. We worked with government, worked with the Department of DID in Gauteng, DID in economic development in KZN, in Mpumalanga, Public Works, the defense. I did training for them. I did training for the Premier of the Northern Cape. So those are the provinces that I really worked hand in hand with them and trained over 5,000 people.
And you are the biggest black female-owned importer of air conditioners in the country, right?
The only black.
Oh, you're the only
woman black importer of air conditioning in the country.
Okay.
Yes.
You've done very well. You've been in a lot of positions of leadership. But let's talk about your not only chairpersonship or chairwomanship, but your the boards that you serve in.
Well, I served in a lot of boards. I've served in the. I've been a chairperson of women's football. I've been a chairperson of the first division in the board of governors of PSL before I became a board member, because my team was in the Premier League. I've served as a deputy chairperson of the Transformation Committee of Sports in the country, appointed by Fiki Lembalula when he was the Minister of Sports. Then became the chairperson during Nati's ministry when he was the Minister of Sports. Served for 10 years in that portfolio transformation of sports in the country. When Zizi came in, also appointed me. I thought I'm retiring. He appointed me again into the board. So I'm serving again into the board with young people that I will learn also from them. So there are a number of boards that I've chaired in the manufacturing industry, also in the fuel industry, also. So those are the board that I've chaired.
Why did you leave the fuel industry?
I didn't leave. I'm still in the fuel
industry.
Yes.
Okay. Side hustle.
It's a bit difficult now because there's no fuel.
Yes, ma'am.
A lot of refineries are closing down, so we struggle. Struggle a lot to get that fuel. It's not like before. It's a big struggle.
What makes a good leader?
Somebody who lead from the bottom, not somebody who leads from there, who is a dictator. When you bring the people below you to make the decision with you, you are a good leader, because you will never have any challenge. You'll never have any challenge if you bring everybody on board, and the decisions are not made by yourself, are made by the entire team. It's just like employees. If you involve your employees in decision making, you'll never have challenges. But if you make decisions for them, you're going to have a lot of challenges.
And what type of a leader are you, Mama?
I think it's. I might give it must be somebody else. It must be somebody else that answers that question. Or what type of a leader are you? But I know that I'm a leader who. Let me give an example. When I was given an opportunity to set up the Women's National League, I could have sat in the office and do a lot of writing and proposal and everything, and boom, into the NEC and say, this is the proposal. I didn't do that. What I did, and for the first time in the history of this country, those teams, and I didn't want to see officials, I wanted to see the owners of the teams. They were telling me that in the history of football is the first time they see, and at that time, remember, I was the vice president of South African Football Association, seeing a leader of that caliber coming to them and saying, we want to form a national women's league. What is it that you want to see? That's why it just boomed like that, because it was a decision by the teams themselves out there. And mine was just to advise, look, guys, let's start with 12 teams. Then we'll add 2 teams. We'll add teams in, so that for the first 2 years, all the provinces are represented. Then thereafter, then you can, get your sponsors, get your government to assist and all that and all. And I'm giving that example because I want to show that because I was the vice president, I could have just sit in the on my own and send a proposal to the teams and say that is it. No, that's not what I did. I worked with them. And I say, let's see why are we not performing? Why last year we performed in the air conditioning? Why are we not performing? And then the staff will be able to say, no, Mama, I think we are missing the point. This is what we need, because you can't know it all. You have to learn, and you can learn from somebody who cleans in your office. You can get an advice from that person. That's who I am. I'm always surrounded by people that I think I might even know better than them, but I'm surrounded by them because I know that I can get something out of it.
What advice would you give to young professionals or excuse me, young leaders who would like to serve on certain boards or who feel they've been doing really well in their career? Some of them, maybe they're in their 10th year in their career or 15th year in their career, and they feel they're doing well and they're leading well wherever they are in their field, and they'd like to start exploring serving on different boards. Do you have to wait to be invited? Do you have to shop around? And how do you do that? How do you get to serve on boards and add value in companies?
Yeah, first of all, serve. We need to understand that. Now my experience is that a lot of people don't want to serve. They want to benefit all the time, So if you want to serve, the first thing you do, you are interested in football. There is a board of governors of PSL. There's a board of governors there's an NEC of SAFA. You simply write a letter and say, I want to sit in this board and observe. I just want to observe. There was a young boy in Durban when we came in and he came to me and said, Mama, I want to see you. And I said, no. He flew up to Joburg and he said, I've got an idea. Football is for us. It's not for you guys. Can you at least have 5 or 9 youngsters one from each province to sit in your board, just to understand what is it that we are talking about in football? Because we are not going to do anything but to observe. But after observing, we'll write to you and say to you, this is what we observe. Can't you do it this way or that way? And that opportunity was never given to him. Of course, I was not the decision maker, but I took him to the decision maker and say, this is a young boy, and I think the idea is a good idea. Because this industry is not for us. We are making decisions for them. But maybe we could learn so much from them if they just sit in the board and be able. So those young people, if you are in technology, you want to talk to MTN, talk to Vodacom, talk to Sasol, and say, I just want to. And I don't think any board could refuse. If you write a letter and say, this is my career, it's in line with what you are doing. I just want to observe when you are in the boardroom. When you have board meetings, can you just invite me so that I can sit there and learn? And you learn. And sometimes you say, I want to serve. I want to serve in this voluntary. I want to serve. And serve. And after that, you might be able to even be taken seriously because they can see your contribution.
And what did you study, Mama? And where?
My final study was public administration at the University of Limpopo. That's where I was. Yes, I remember.
Nearly tough, ne?
TEF.
Oh, yo.
I was the class leader and the teacher, the English teacher, we wrote a test, and then she came back and said, most of them failed. And then they said, no, but REA, go and ask her, or can we rewrite? Then I went to meet with her and said, ba kopa man re ngwale gape man di marks tsela di ko tlase haholo. A re mara there's one learner who got over 90.
Sure.
So how do I deal with that?
Yeah.
Maybe re tla bua le ena motho ke re ena o tla kry 100 jwale. It's you.
It's you.
And I said, no, but let's have an opportunity to write once again. So that was my final, besides being a teacher by profession.
Yes. Also, you were also a teacher for how long?
I've taught for 6-7 years.
Jeez, you've got a solid history, man.
Yeah, I taught at a mine school. I taught at a Shangani High School. I taught at a primary school. I worked for Standard Bank. Then I moved to public relations at the office of the Chief Minister of LEDWABA then. And I became a deputy director in the local. I worked with the chiefs, traditional leaders.
Yes.
Yeah. I worked with all the traditional leaders of Limpopo.
If one were to ask you about some of the most difficult days of your life, what would you say? I know life has got its ups and downs, and it happens in different decades. But if you were to just mention one, that you would say, this era was the most difficult part of my life.
Yeah, but look, I think for me, I lived soccer. I lived football all my life. The most difficult time was when I had to give that, because it was a very difficult decision to make. The first time was when I was working as a deputy director and I wanted to resign. And I went to my senior and I asked him, look, I want to resign, because I wanted to leave. I didn't want to just give them a letter. I felt I've worked with these people. Let me talk to them and say, this is what I want to do. And basically because I wanted to run REA Stars full time. And they all refused. All of them refused and said no. I went to the MEC of Traditional Affairs. He refused. I went to Ramatlodi, the premier. He said no. You can run that team and still work. But I resigned at the end. But it was a feeling that I wanted them to release me, to say you have contributed into the department but they refused. But I left not feeling good when I left, and I went into the industry of football, which was very difficult because now I was not earning. I didn't have a sponsor. I have to pay for these players. Now you realize when you are there, this is going to be a very difficult one. Yes.
Did it somehow at some point test or challenge your family life?
Of course it
with
did.
Your husband and your children?
Yeah, obviously my husband was the transporter. He was working for Premier Mill as a rep. So we had a kumbi. So that kumbi was used to carry players over the weekend. That's why we survived. So we didn't have to hire a kumbi because he had a kumbi. So we will be together all the time to the game. But where our children? And then the other players, they will come and stay at my house. And then I don't have the money, and the children would tell me, Rena, when we want money, there's no money. Matter when the players want money, there's money.
Yeah.
So it was a challenge, and you grow, your children grow up not really being you're there because it's weekend. Weekend you are playing. You are playing every weekend. You are playing, and I was working as a deputy director for traditional affairs.
Yes, ma'am.
Working late.
Yes, ma'am.
You go and meet with the chief. You can't meet with him this time. It has to be after 5 and all that. Come home late. Depend on the helper to cook for them and all that. But I'm happy to look at my children, to look at them and see how strong they've become, because they endured that time when I was not there.
How old is your youngest granddaughter?
Grandson.
It's a son.
Grandson.
Okay.
Kano,
What makes me say a daughter?
I don't know.
Maybe because I got a baby
Because
girl.
I'm born in the family of boys.
That's nice.
Kano.
Oh, Kano.
Kano.
How old is she? It's a he. Okay.
6 months.
Oh, 6 months.
Yeah.
Oh,
6 months.
Congratulations, guys.
Yes.
Oh,
I was
that is such
sleeping
great
there
news.
every day.
Early September, ne?
Yeah, September the 11th.
Yeah.
The 11th of September.
Oh, that's beautiful. 2023.
Se wa dula mo like mshimano se ke bona a seleka jolo.
How does it feel to have 10 grandchildren?
It feels good, but you really don't have the time to spend with them because you are busy with all this one volunteering. Remember, I've been appointed to head the Women in Sports in Limpopo, the whole of the Confederation of Sports in Limpopo. I'm the head of Women in Sports there. So my time in Limpopo, I'm staying in Joburg, but I'm almost every day in Limpopo because I want to empower women. When I came in, I said I don't want to tell them what is it that we have to do as women. I want us to have a workshop. And then I struggled because the leaders, they are men. When you ask for information, you don't get it. Just to say each federation, there are about 37, 45 federation. Can I get 2 representative women that are in leadership, women that are decision makers in your federation? I want them in one workshop. And the reason was that you come there, you have a template, you are going to tell us about your federation, what you are doing, you are going to tell us about your objectives, your successes, your challenges, and you tell us how you think those challenges can be overcome. I'm telling you, Sbu, this country has got so much capacity, but we don't know because we never give these young chaps an opportunity. I was like, I invited the vice president of SASCOC, it's a woman, to come there. She was like, oh my God, REA, these girls can present themselves, can tell you about the challenges and tell you how to resolve those challenges. And if you look at all sporting codes, almost similar challenges. No facilities, no transport to those facilities. Women are not taken seriously, in those organizations. If you stand up, you are chucked out, you are no more there and all that. So those kind of things. Then I said, okay, let's have a summit. Can we have a summit where now we are going to invite you and invite other leaders to come on a panel and talk about leadership. Talk about how do you acquire a sponsorship for your federation. Those were the 2 topics. I'm telling you, those women were so empowered. Then we had the first Woman in Sports Awards. Never happened. Every time there's a provincial sports awards, guess where the women participate, where it's the best woman, woman of the year with disability. That's where women are are recorded. The rest of the other categories, there might be 15 or what, it's only men. I said, it can't be. Let's see. And I said to the MEC, I want to demonstrate to you that there are women out there that are performing that are never recognized. First year, 850 nominations. Only 7 categories. Because we all selected, we said, let's start with the 7. It was a beautiful, beautiful occasion. And they saw women are there. They have been there, they've been participating, but not recognized. Because when you send nomination to the Federation, 99% of the president are men. What do? They pick up whoever they pick up. Those women are left out there. So those politics that are there that prevents certain individuals to be able to be recognized. And the MEC was very excited. Never seen anything. Beautiful awards that they have never seen in the province.
Talking about leadership, elections are literally a few weeks away.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear your thoughts on our current leadership and the elections. Are you going to vote?
Yeah. And I encourage everybody to vote. It's important. It's your right. I'm saying if you don't vote, then it means you have no say. Why would you have a say when you haven't voted? This is a democratic country where we have to vote, and it's your choice. You are not forced to vote for someone. Look, and I always, my grandson was asking me, who should I vote for? And I said, my first grandson.
How old is your first grandchild?
He's 18.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So he's clever
and,
now.
And
Give
he
it
says,
down.
no,
Come on, Bizola.
I want to.
By 10. So, oi, how you guys doing? I'd like to see you guys one day. You must look after grandmama, ne? Go
unthatile.
Oh, ke unthatile.
Yes,
Okay.
unthatile, yes. I didn't want to use the other name. I don't like it. Yeah.
Okay.
So I wanted this one. Yeah.
So, Aring?
I don't know. One put a vote it's ma. Kiramara why? I just saw them talking on. No, we don't do that. When you want to vote for a party that you believe will deliver their promises, you go into their manifesto. You look into their policies. Look at the policies and these policies must talk to you. If they don't talk to you, why would you vote? Look at the policies that are relevant to you today as a young boy. Or are you having an opportunity? Do you think it's what you want to see on that? So not voting, and this country we don't vote. Unfortunate. If the last one was even the worst one, I hope now that I see that we have more registration of young people that are going to vote. I just hope that on the 29th, they will go there and vote for their preferred
political party of their choice.
Parties, yeah. Just a pity that here we have 300 and something parties.
Who are you voting for, Mama?
No, it's a secret. Remember, that's a secret. You can't tell people. No, you can't. No, that one is a secret. That's why it's a policy.
Yes, ma'am.
If you want to tell people, you can tell people, but it's a secret. You go there and vote for the party of your choice. And I've been voting for that party, and I don't think there will be anything. I'm not a drifter because I don't believe that. I believe in the policy of the party. The people might mess up. That's what we see all the time, that you put this organization has got structures to be able to be the best. But then you put Sbusiso there, you put REA there, and then they start doing their own things and they make that their own business now. So, and instead of taking 5 rand and give people 100 rand, you take 95 rand and give people 5 rand. So those are the things that we need to look at as a country. Let's look at the people. We can't have unemployment so high. You can't have crime so high in the country. You can't have women still being raped in this country. You can't have inequality in the country. That when we look at the African continent, South Africa should be a leader in all aspects. But when you look at the statistics of crime, for example, you look at people who don't have homes, we still don't have water, we still struggle with load shedding, So those are the things that we need to look at as a country and be able to rectify. And I know it can't be done in 1 year, it can't be done in 2 years. If we struggle 303 years really in the apartheid, so we will get there. We'll get there.
Go TikTok or go social media. They're saying they're going to hide the bastards alone. They're saying our grandparents. This time around, barring 2024 is our 1994, and we are going to hide our grandparents' IDs. You know why they're saying that?
Why?
They're saying because Lona Lidulal votela ANC. 2000.
No, but you see, Sbu, when there must be it mustn't just be a blanket statement.
Yes, ma'am.
It must be why le votela ANC, because look at their policies. I would understand that. But if you say no, hona le corruption e dira ke batho, human beings that we elect and put into power, and then they mess up. But look at the policy. And they abuse those policies that are there. That would be... those young people now have to have a debate with them.
So I'm telling you now, we're still a few weeks away.
Yeah.
So that Pastor was kanya malove. So it's a look on there. Non samo ebe mo ileng ori whatever. Abaga se ikre. 2000.
Yeah, no, I see there's a lot of parties coming up and all that, and young people must get excited.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
and it's beautiful when they get involved in politics.
No, they must get... Now I would want to see young people. I want to see a parliament when I'm still alive.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to see a parliament, young stars there.
Yes, ma'am.
No, you want to see a parliament of so you need experience, for them to learn a bit from the experience. We can't lose your experience.
Yes, ma'am.
No.
Yes, ma'am.
That experience we still need, but we need to allow them the space to be able to get into the space of leadership and be able to learn and be able to change the status quo.
Ma'am, let's get back into soccer now.
Yeah,
I actually would have wanted to start with this topic. That's why I was saying earlier, the elephant in the room.
Yes.
But I kept it for last. I would like for you to talk about your current ban.
Yes.
You've been banned and what led to your ban. And let's simplify it in layman's terms. So us batho ba ordinary ba go ditrateng sizokhona understand ukuthi kahle kwenzakalani.
Wenzeng msadu.
How wenze mama REA LEDWABA re mo rata so. What happened, ma'am?
Mo lefatsheng lona la South Africa. Ha go bolona le motho ba keleng ba mo bana wa tseba o na le dilo tse ngata tse di etsaetseng a di so. No, let me get straight to the point.
And maybe on that question, let me also follow up. Let me throw in a follow-up question that says, were there charges brought before the ban now as well?
When an organization has become an own organization owned by an individual, That's what happens. There's no corporate governance, nothing at all. I wake up in the morning.
At which organization?
South African Football Association.
Oh, okay, go SAFA.
I wake up in the morning. I'm no more in SAFA. Remember, I'm not in football any longer. Remember, I lost the election in 2022. I had dispute that I raised before the election. Remember, I never campaigned to go to the region. We have got 52 regions. I never had an opportunity because they refused me to go in a campaign. And how do you win an election when you don't speak to the voters? You must go to the voters, tell them what is it that you want to change. That opportunity was denied. So all the processes that were done before the election, I lodged them. I lodged them to even in the day of the election that this is not the way the things should be run and all that. And you know, every time in an election you will have the election done. It does not mean you can't challenge the procedures to that election. So I still maintain I had the right to be able to go to SAFA again and say, I had a dispute before the election. I still have a dispute. Can this dispute be solved? And it was a dispute of constitutional matters, facts, matters that I don't want to see my young boy, my young grandson who wants to get into football, still struggling about those kind of issues 10 years to come. And what happens in South African Football Association, you have to exhaust. You know, everywhere you have to exhaust internal remedies before you can actually go take your matter to court. So I simply lodged and paid 20,000 rand for a dispute to be taken to you have got disciplinary appeal and then you have got arbitration. But you can go straight to arbitration because you don't want to waste time. So that's what we did. And it was only me and the president of Tshwane. We lodged because of a number of mismanagement, a number of abuse of powers and all that. Then we lodged that dispute. We paid. We said we want this matter to be presented before an arbitrator, which I believe SAFA should have given us that opportunity. They appoint, not anybody. They appoint an arbitrator. I go before the arbitrator dismisses our case. Case done. Now they refused. Let me break it down for your listeners to understand. Sbu, you are a leader here, you appoint people here, and then one individual complain about you. And then there are processes, of course, disciplinary and all that. But then that person bring a complaint to you, and you say, no, I'm not taking it there. How can that be in terms of corporate governance? So they refused, and then we went to court. We lost. And I believe the judge had. I don't think the judge understood the what he was doing there. And there's so much corruption. I don't know whether I should call or there's no justice in this country. What he was presenting during the proceedings is different from the judgment that he gave, but it's fine. He gave a judgment, and we appealed to the judgment. We said we are appealing. We informed SAFA. SAFA put notice that they are opposing. End of story. We're waiting for a date of the appeal. All of us. SAFA, it's opposing. We have lodged. We're waiting for a date now. Again, it's the same judge that must allow us to appeal. He might come and say, no, I'm not giving you the opportunity to appeal. But then now I woke up on the 6th, I received an email from SAFA. I've been out of SAFA since 2022, not in any structure of SAFA. Boom. Declaration persona non grata.
What does that mean?
I'm not welcome in football. Something that I lived for all my life. Something that I spend my money not anybody's money, my personal money. I spend my money. What you see today in football, it's some of the money that I've spent to try and bring football to where it is today. Now you say, I am welcome, I'm banned from football. Basically, they say I'm banned from all football activities in this country. So meaning I can't go to a game. I can't, freedom of association, it's no more there. I don't have any freedom. My dignity, it's violated. I've been deframed, or I'm to be declared a persona non grata. It means you have done something, to an organ. I don't know even what. I can't explain you to what would you have done for an organization to ban you. I'm banned because I'm raising my voice on issues. And those issues, I'm going to tell them tomorrow, those issues, Sbu, will never go away. The leadership of SAFA will still struggle with those issues because those issues, whether REA is there or not, they remain. Are issues that needs to be addressed. If I have to be declared a persona non grata, what about the president who was alleged rape, who has got a case of alleged rape? Is it not even worse? In fact, in the letter they say I've brought the league, the association into disrepute. My first question was, how? How did I bring this organization into disrepute? And who decides that I have brought this organization? Is it that this politician? The politicians sit in the boardroom and then they decide, no, REA has brought by going to court. The judge she has lost the case because she has lost the case now, and they've put a notice. Remember, if you put a notice, that case it doesn't exist until the appeal.
Have you appealed?
Yes, I have, and they have notified us that they are opposing. But they still write a demonstration clearly. No corporate governance. Because if you have corporate governance, somebody has appealed. You wait for the appeal to come, and there's still other processes. If you fail, if the judge is going to say you can't appeal, we'll go to the Constitutional Court. We'll go up to the Constitutional Court because I feel I am violated as a person. They want to silence me. SAFA simply want to silence. They just want, they believe, if we don't declare her persona non grata, probably by 2026 she can come up again and people can say they might nominate her. So we want to clear that, or she must never be involved in football. Those are the things, and these are the things that I look at and I say, the executive one, SAFA is not run by way of mouth. SAFA is run by the Constitution. There's a Constitution that tells you what to do when somebody has violated. What do you do? If somebody violates, if I've brought the league into the association into a disrepute, simple. The NEC take it to the tribunal. There are judicial bodies in SAFA that are appointed specifically to deal with issues of disciplinary. The NEC has got no business whatsoever to deal. You can't deal with your colleagues. You make a decision on your colleagues. You have to be able to refer. They should have, if they failed, and I don't know how they do that when I'm not in the structure.
Do you think it has got anything to do with the former CEO, Mr. Dennis Mambo?
I don't think so. Dennis Mambo has been our CEO, all of us, know. And Dennis Mambo, remember, he wrote a damning report, a serious damning report. And that report was presented to the NEC, and they all said, no, we're not going to look at this report. And this report will stand, will still, the facts are there and all that. Maybe my sin was to say, no, guys, this report has got issues that we need to look at. Can we refer this report to a judiciary? Let it be dealt by a judiciary. Maybe that was my mistake, to not agree, to just not look at the report and do it away.
Let's talk maybe about your knowledge with the SAFA legacy funds.
Yes.
Do you think maybe there is some form of trying to silence you? Or is there anything that you would like to say as far as the legacy funds are concerned? Where have they been misappropriated? Or is everything in order as far as that's concerned? It's only the governance issues at SAFA? Or do you think that's also part of the problem?
That's part of the problem. You see, Sbu, I've always maintained that if something is not right, I will not keep quiet. I will be able to raise it in the meeting, and I was able to speak to, if Danny Jordaan is an honest person, he would be able to tell people that probably I was a single-headed person who would go to his office and say, President, I don't think this is right. Can we look at this? And in almost every time I went to his office, he has agreed with me. But I think it was when my name was put on the table for election, and that's where everything started to then. But let's go to the Legacy Trust. I was a board member at the Legacy Trust. I don't want to talk about the other things and other things. I want to talk about the 40 million rand that was left in the Legacy Trust. I'm a board member. I've never seen a statement of the Legacy Trust, not once. The last meeting to dissolve the Legacy Trust, I requested that members, can we be afforded the 4 bank statement of 4 different banks so that we can be able to satisfy ourselves that we do not have any money in all these 4 banks. Nedbank, Standard Bank, FNB, ABSA, the big 4. 40 million rand was applied by SAFA for specific projects, and it was approved on that basis. That money was never distributed to those. Where is that 40 million rand? Where did it go?
Is it no longer in those 4 accounts?
I don't know, because I've never seen the bank statement. Yeah, I don't know. But what I know is that the money that was supposed to go to regional leagues did not go. The money that was supposed to go to this one did not go. The money that was supposed to go to this one was not distributed to those. That is why there is an offer on the table. Or, no, we are buying you bakkies. That Legacy Trust, there is a lot that happened in that Legacy Trust that needs to be investigated. It's money that was supposed, didn't even last 10 years, 600 million rand. Where did it go? What did it do? The benefit. Remember, in the board, we receive an application. The administration, the general manager, will then distribute those funds. Then the next meeting, he will come and tell us that the funds have been distributed. But I can tell you, from the last meeting, that's when I realized, it is yes, the money is approved. Yes, the money is applied for specific reason, and it's approved on that basis. We would not give you money just for the sake of giving money. You have to tell us where this money is going to. Then when I asked that, we said, let's give ourselves 14 days to come back and then finalize the dissolution of that. Then one meeting before the 14 days, the president comes to the NEC meeting and he says, no, FIFA is asking me or I must remove the board, the trustees. And we were removed. We were left with 14 days for the meeting, the last meeting, where we must be given the bank statement that we requested, where we must be able to distribute the 40 million rand to where it was approved. And we were removed and who remains? Somebody who's not even a member of SAFA remains. And FIFA will write a letter and say, we want. And then one of the members of FIFA wrote back and said, but it doesn't make sense. Why do you remove people when we are left with only one meeting? Why don't we just wrap up? So withdraw that withdrawal of people from the meeting. And the president also withdrawn himself. Actually, he when he does that, very strategic. His name is also there that he's withdrawn. Then we were drawn, but they never responded to that. I don't know. Well, maybe they responded to that letter of a member of FIFA saying no, but you can't. Why? Doesn't make sense when you must withdraw people when we are left with one meeting. So there is a lot that needs to be addressed in terms of the legacy.
And another question that I wrote here is, does a SAFA administrator have the right to block anyone from going to arbitration?
No. It's only the arbitrator that can say you don't have a case.
Yeah.
It's not, arbitration, it's like that. If you take your matter to arbitration, the organization that you are putting the arbitration will set up the arbitration. And the arbitrator will say yes or no. I'm going to listen to a case or not. But it can be the administrator. The administrator of SAFA, they are just there to set up the structure. Not to even refer. I refer my matter. As an individual, I refer my matter to arbitration. But they can't say no to that arbitration.
And by law, an individual can't declare another member persona non grata, ne?
No, they can't. But it's the struggle for REA. This is it. And it pains me because I'm not doing this thing for me. No, I'm doing this thing for our young boys and girls that are coming up. They must never fight the same battles that we are fighting. I want things to be run properly. We can't have a one-man show running an organization like South African Football Association.
And who's that one-man show at SAFA?
Jordaan. Clearly, let me tell you, because I used to go to his office, we had a very mutual relationship where I would go and advise him, and I think he lost it when he heard that my name it's called to challenge him. That's where he lost it. But there's one meeting where he showed me a scan of his brain, and he said to me, "Look at this scan." I just went to do my scan and they say, I even checked. I can't remember whether it's on the left or right, but something to do with your brain, it's more effective on the left or the right. What it means is that you don't believe in anybody. You only believe in yourself. So you can't, and that's him. And I said to him, unfortunately, maybe most of us are like you, but the unfortunate part of your scan is that this is not your organization. This is it's a public institution. So if it was your business at home, like my business, well, I can do what I want to do at my business. But this is, unfortunately, you are going to struggle. You can't delegate. You can't do anything. He doesn't believe in anybody. He doesn't believe in all those NECs that are sitting there. He doesn't believe in one of them. Doesn't believe in them. He only believes in himself. There's nobody who can do anything. You even speak when he speaks about the World Cup. I was the CEO of only 8 countries that has brought the World Cup into their countries, as if it was only the responsibility of a CEO to bring, as if it's his responsibility to bring the 2010 World Cup. And I kept on saying to him, but why did you carry Mandela to Zurich during the election? If it was you, you would have left the old man here at home. But we took the old man there because he's such a respected, great leader that people saw him there and they felt they're going to vote for that old man. But Danny believes the World Cup was brought to South Africa by him. Poor Ivan Kosaneli chairperson, Babali. No. And this is an it's a federation that brings the World Cup to. You are just the CEO who runs things out there. But the Federation of Football in South Africa, which is SAFA, brought the World Cup to South Africa, not an individual. Yes, there were committee members and all that. There were a lot of committee members. But listen to Jordaan when he speak about any success. It's about the 2010 World Cup, nothing else.
Do you think Mr. Jordaan has got a hand in you being banned?
No. It doesn't have a hand. It's his decision. I'm 100% sure of that. It can never be anybody's decision. It's Danny Jordaan. He said this woman, he calls me that woman. That's what he calls me. When he talks to people, no, that woman, she's very dangerous. So he doesn't want to see me. Maybe he has got this thing of saying, maybe if he leaves, there might be an opportunity for REA to come back, and I don't want. It's that Danny doesn't want to see me standing up. And
but would you go back and contest him?
If I would not go back and contest.
So you're done with football, Mama?
I'm done with football, but I know, Hore, you are not going there. I will never stand up because I want to be the president of SAFA. It has always been the people
yes,
coming to me and say, Mama, Raugopa. And it took me many months of consultation before I made that decision. First with my children, who are very, very particular. My children, very particular. And they will say, Mama, you know what, Batuba, you know this man, you want to fight with this man, why don't you leave this? But I consulted with leaders of this country before I made that decision, or yes, I want to. So, Danny Jordaan has had so many people out there in the streets. They can't fend their families. They've been destroyed completely by that man. There are so many. If men can just stand up and say, me too, me too, me too. Many, I'm talking about many. All his vice president were out, all of them. Now he's fighting with one who was the other vice president. He's already written a very damning letter about him. And they were supposed to have a meeting on Saturday, and I was sure they were going to suspend him.
Do you think you guys are being strategically shifted such that some people's hands can be in the cookie jar?
Yeah, definitely. Danny wants I don't know, maybe he wants to stand for the 4th time. He still wants to stand as the president of SAFA. But he's not bringing... You can't have vice president that when you go forward but the vice president, you always have new vice presidents. Why? Why do you have new vice president all the time? What happened to your vice president? It's only you who survives. And then all your vice presidents are out. And when you come in with new vice president, how does that happen?
How do we get involved or assist as the public or the government? How does the government help?
Government can't. Remember, FIFA has got a rule that government can't interfere into football, unfortunately. If government interfere, the FIFA will ban South Africa from playing for a period of time until they do one. Zimbabwe did the same thing. Zimbabwe said to hell with FIFA. We are not going to watch our football going down and say FIFA will ban. Let them ban us. They banned them. For 2 years, they didn't play. We were supposed to play in the World Cup. We were supposed to play with Zimbabwe. They were banned. But they are back. They put their house in order. They are back. But you have SASCOC, for example, which is the custodian of sports in this country. How long? What do SASCOC want to hear before they act, before they investigate? They have all the power to investigate and say, but all this thing, the Hawks has raided SAFA offices just the last week. There's so many reports out there about SAFA not doing their thing. Why wouldn't they do? Now I'm saying, and I was talking to the legends at Spiwe's funeral. I said, legends, you are not united. You are allowed to be called one by one and being offered peanuts there, peanuts there, peanuts there, while the other legends are suffering. Get yourself united. You have so much power. The minister will stand up. If you guys stand up and say enough, it's enough, we are not going to allow this football of ours that we participated so much to go down like that. The public, they have supporters. If supporters say, tool down, we're not going to see any game until things change at South African football. And it's not, I want people to understand, or it's not about I want to be there. It's not about that. I don't care whether I'm there or not. But what I'm saying is that we have capable young people. We have got capable legends that could take our football and have the interest of football. Because if you look at what is the interest, it's only Bafana. But where does Bafana come from? They must come from school sports. They must come from the region. There is no region that is operating. They don't have offices. They don't have financial statements. They have nothing, those regions. How do they develop players? You have to empower them. You had 600 million rand, legacy trust. You failed to just give each region 2 million rand to build their own offices. They don't have anything.
That 600 million is gone?
Gone.
All of it?
They received it in 2011. I got the World Cup was 2011.
Yes, ma'am.
2021, it was done.
Not even 10 years, but that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you should have invested. You should have invested. You should
It should be bearing fruits now. We should be pointing at some of the institutions that would have built in the country.
All the 52 regions, all of them have got offices. They've got a ground where they can play and get revenue for teams to come and play in their ground. They've got a spaza shop, Nyanamole, they can buy cold drinks and all that. Income. They do not have any income. If SAFA doesn't pay them that 35,000 rand a month grant.
And when that 600 came, who was in leadership then?
Danny.
Since the World Cup, since.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a and we'll keep on talking.
There's politics of football.
Now they can remove me. It's okay. They can. And how many games of Fana play anyway in this country? How many? Those are the games that they're saying I'm banned. Or PSL, I will have a worry because PSL it's every game. Now I must be banned, no reason whatsoever, no notice, no platform to be heard, nothing. South Africa, a democratic country where you must be heard. Even ANC, you see their they go to the disciplinary hearing. They take them to, even if they want to take you out, let it be procedural. Let them send you a notice. You have to appear before a DC. This is what But what are they using? Football money. They use football money that the teams don't get. No prize money, no outfit, no soccer ball, nothing. The teams are sponsoring football in this country because they pay. They pay the registration fee, get nothing. Zero, nothing. Not a soccer ball. I've got a foundation, LEDWABA Foundation. So if I can show you the request just of soccer balls, clubs, regions, writing Mama Rukupa soccer balls. I actually bought in 2022 about 3,000 soccer balls to give away to clubs, to regions, to... They don't have anything. They have nothing.
What's the future? What do we do us as the public, ma?
This is the beauty of the South African footballers is that it's a structure. It's a very good structure that has got regions, that has got people that can be... They just need leadership. You need leadership that can take... We cannot be South Africa and not qualify for AFCON. And qualify this year, 2 years we don't qualify, we qualify, we get bronze, and then we celebrate as if, we have won. Or we celebrate mediocrity in this country.
33%.
Yeah. That's what you say. No, bana ba no pasa, 30% they can go there. But there's a future. And that's why you see the sponsors out there, they're folding their hands because they don't want to be associated with mediocrity. They don't want to be associated with scandals, with so many things every day. And they think those things, when they remove REA, it will go away. It will not. Unfortunately, they can remove me from football as much as they want. My life does not depend on football, has never depended on football. But the bottom line is that the issues that are on the table will not go away.
Are you any confident with your appeal, Mama?
I'm very confident. I was very confident with the case. I was my legal team was very confident. I'm very confident with the appeal. That's why I'm saying this case, unfortunately, football is going to use football money that they don't have to fight me. And I'm saying, why would football fight an individual
that
on matters
football.
That loves football, and on a matters that everybody can see that these are the matters to be sorted. These are the matters to be sorted. You can't have someone who's close to the president, who always drive the president around, being borrowed 400,000 rand from football. Where have you ever seen something like that? And this person is not working. It's not working. How is he going to pay that 400,000?
This is the associate of the president.
He is the best friend of he's the right-hand man of the president.
And who's this?
No.
So we can't say names, yeah.
But
obvious, but there's proof that they were given sums to the amount of 40,000.
I will never speak about rumors.
Yes, ma'am.
I will speak about the things that I can give evidence.
But that's corruption, though, Mr.
Yeah, no,
because this person is not a SAFA member, they don't work there, right?
Look, let me tell you, in 2021, December, 2021, December, 2024, to be specific, it's December. In fact, I didn't see it. One NEC calls me and say, "Did you receive 20,000 rand?" I said, "What 20,000 rand?" He said, "But we received 20,000 rand on the 24th of December. And the offices were SAFA were closed from the 15th to the 8th of January. Closed. The offices are closed. But the NEC received 20,000 from who? I'm the vice president of SAFA. And then I went back to my account, and indeed there's a 20,000 rand. And I called the CEO, "What is this 20,000? Hey, it's your president." And I know these people, they go, the president, no, Groni, give the CFO, pay all and it's that decision can't be made by the president. It's a decision, it's an NECD, it's the highest body. The president is not the highest body in SAFA. The highest body is the NEC. So what I did, I sent it back. I sent that 20,000 rand back. And what happens? He has got a WhatsApp group where he removes everybody else. I was removed in that WhatsApp group. He sent WhatsApp, REA sent the 20,000 rand, influence all the regional president. Or no, there's a issue of the 20,000 rand. We don't know what she wants and all that. And I wrote a letter. I said, I want an explanation. I want the NEC to give an explanation. Where did this 20,000 rand come from? Because there was never a decision by the NEC to pay 20,000 rand to the NEC. 2022, we got into the Congress March. We decided each member from 2019, 2020, 20, there was no honorary. We must get those honorary, which is about 100,000. It's about 500 each, right? Then they gave us, after that, I think April or May, we received the 100,000 rand, part of that 500. Received the 500,000 rand. What happens with that the 100,000? I took that 100,000. I chose 4 local football association. I paid them 25. Those LFA were written letters to not accept that 25,000 rand, but they refused. They said no. We got the money. We didn't steal this money. We got that money, and we don't have the money to run the LFA. They don't receive any cent from anyone. So that 25,000 rand for an LFA was like, a bonus. But those LFA were actually written letters, no, you can't receive this money and all that. So those are the things that they are fighting for. Oh, this woman can even take her 100,000 rand and give him back to football. That's what I did. I gave it back to football. And now I must be banned from football. And if I look at that NEC, all of it, including the president, if he can tell me if he has ever taken a cent out of his pocket, his family pocket, and use it for football, he will be lying. In fact, he benefited from football. But here I am, someone who has contributed so much into football in this country. I must be treated like a criminal, like I've done something that I'm a disgrace. That's what it says. It says you are a disgrace to football. So and they quote the judge or the judge. I don't even think that judge understands the rules of football. Didn't understand at all. But I will give him the benefit of doubt because I'm still asking him to give me an appeal. He can refuse. If I talk too much, he can say, this woman, I'm not.
This podcast is going to come out.
No, it's okay.
Mama is on our case.
No, it's I'm talking about the things that come from our heart, and I'm not talking about, it's not a personal fight. And I must say, it's not a personal fight with Danny Jordaan. But
even if it was somebody else, you would still have
even
the same
if
issue.
It was somebody else, but Danny Jordaan has abused his powers. He has mismanaged the organization. There's no corporate governance. He's a one-man show. That's it. And he knows it. And all those NECs, they know it. It's only that they are cowards. They are afraid. Maybe they are not cowards. Maybe they are afraid to be victimized. I agree, victimize people.
Is it?
Yeah, that's why there are so many people out there in the street that Danny Jordaan has had. Throw them under the bus. Those people that were the right hand men behind, bakwa first, balatetse ka mo fasa bus.
Mama, we love you. Thank you so much for visiting us.
Yes.
How would you like your legacy? How would you like to be remembered, Mama? You've got such a fat, thick, long legacy of incredible work that you've done in this country. How do we remember you one day? How would you like to be remembered?
As a servant of football in this country that has never benefited from it.
Mama, what would you like to say to your grandchildren when they are your age and they watch this video 30 years from today, 40 years from today? I would like for you to look at that camera over there and speak to the young ones as well, the young professionals, the young ladies, the ones in varsity, those who are still pursuing their education as well. Your last words to this country, what would you like to say to our audiences?
Yeah, I want to say to the young people, never sell your soul. Never, never, never sell your soul. Stand firm on your conviction. You must never be intimidated to tell the truth. The truth will always remain the truth. And there are three concerns in terms of the truth. It's my truth, your truth, and it's your case, my case, and then it's the truth. And the truth will always set us free in this country. If we are going to tell the truth, this thing of being, I'm afraid to be victimized, there must be someone who stand up. And those young people, I know them, they can stand up and be able to be counted in this country.
Would like to appreciate your family, Mama, for for sharing you with us.
Thank you.
And thank you for the inspiration over the years. The lives that you've changed over the years, the incredible work that you've done, the contributions into football for South Africa, and just raising an incredible, successful family. And congratulations on your 10 grandchildren. And I'd also like to say hello to
Kano.
the last born and then the first born on Tatile.
Yeah,
And then obviously their parents as well, your children.
Yes.
Guys, thank you so much for borrowing us this incredible woman. May you live for us, Mama Orpilele, and thank you so much for coming. And for me, I can't believe I'm meeting you for the first time. That's the thing, Mama. Sometimes I know everybody.
Yeah.
And there's certain people in I get starstruck.
Yeah.
So when I first met you downstairs, I got starstruck.
Yeah.
So I'm saying it now on camera so people know. I also get starstruck.
Yeah.
And thank you for everything, man.
No, thank you. And it's been a pleasure to sit on the table with you. First time. I've never met you anywhere, but I've seen you. I've read about you. I've seen your work and all that. I'm saying may the grace of God continue to increase you abundantly beyond measure. Continue to do what you are doing. You know what is it that you are doing. May just God bless you all the time.
Mama,
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, we'll see you on the next video. Today, I was just in the presence of greatness, just in front of an icon. If you're under 20 years old, ask your parent, your father, your uncle, your aunt, your moms, as to the greatness of this human being that I'm sitting next to. Thank you so much. Magwande, Magukanye, Siyabonga.
Elebo.
Thank you.